So I think the idea of the learning groups is very different, and we kind of have to shake out of our heads how we're used to seeing schools organized, because if we keep trying to stick a square peg into a round hole, it's not going to fit. So, in order for folks to be able to conceptualize this, we really have to kind of have, erase everything from the chalkboard and start again, and think about different ways of being in the school. And I think one of the things that's in the health and safety guidelines is that if a student has an elective that's outside of their learning group, they can then take that elective as long as social distancing can be observed in that elective. So that might include things like band or choral music or drama, where you could use a bigger space, and it might mean we have to use the spaces within our schools differently than we're used to doing. So if schools are used to working on a linear model, which I think is what you're talking about, Shannon, where your daughter was taking 8 courses at once, they may have to talk about going to a semestered system. Or I've seen some districts already talking about going to a quarter semester system, where students are taking even just 2 courses at once for a shorter period of time. So it's going to take a little while for districts to think about the ways that they can implement this in the best way that meets the needs of their communities. But it's also going to require all of us who interact with the school system to kind of take a step back and not try to think about the way that schools were organized traditionally, and allow people to have some space to think outside the box and be innovative with how we group students together.
So we do have protocols for it depends on where the source of infection was, whether it was in the school setting or not. So it depends on the investigation that's done by public health. But the worst case scenario would be that entire cohort would be asked to self-isolate and be monitored and tested. That would be sort of the extent of it, and why we've gone to this cohort system, because that's how we could manage it effectively. If it happens, as we've seen in other settings, where the exposure event was outside of the school setting, then that individual may be removed from the setting. But if they weren't sick in the school, then it may not have an impact on the other people in the cohort. So it really depends on the situation. And yes, public health will be working closely. Our medical health officers are the school health officers, and they do have relationships across the province with schools, and they will be ensuring that the school community is informed and kept up to date on everything that's happening.